So something very odd is happening all across the United States. Employment has taken a turn, and now Americans no longer have the power. I want to issue this little warning to you guys because this is what we're seeing. We're seeing people quitting simply because they don't have any power. They are not getting the benefits that they were promised. They're not getting the wages that they were promised. And I will explain why in just a minute. All I ask, do me a favor, go ahead, spend 2 seconds and hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. But also, share this video with your friends and family over on Facebook so they too know what is going on. Let's get right down to it. So, what is happening here in the United States? Well, here's what we know. People who have quit their jobs, in the past to go and look for something better positions, better pay, better benefits, right? They're now starting to quit. But why? Well, these jobs, according to multiple people, are not what they thought they would be. They were being promised extra benefits, better hours, better wages, and that's not what's happening. The employer is now demanding more responsibilities. But why? Because now they're letting people go. Or the employer is reducing hours to accommodate for the wage increases. Because that's what businesses do. Take this and just consider this. You go and work for somebody for, let's say, $10 an hour, right? And you're going to work 40 hours a week. You're going to make $400 per week. I know that it's probably not excessive amount of money, but it's a decent wage, $10 an hour. Okay. Now, you're going to make $10 an hour, $400 a week. Perfect. Okay, well, that's great. But what if instead of working 40 hours, okay, you were promised, or let's say you're going to work 40 hours no matter what, but you're promised you make $15 an hour, right? But now instead of working 40 hours, now the company says, you can only work 25 hours. Now, I don't know what the math is to get to 400, but you're going to work less hours. You're going to make the same amount of money, but you're going to make less out, or you're going to work less hours. When you were hiring or getting hired for that position, in your mind, you were probably thinking, I'm going to work 40 hours. I'm going to make $15 an hour. Okay, perfect. I'll be making some good money every single month. But no, you're getting paid the exact same that you got in your last job because now the employer changed things a little bit. But here's another thing. One of the other reasons why people don't have power anymore is because small businesses are closing down. They're just closing down. And let me know in the comment section below, are there any businesses that you know of where you live that have simply closed down? There's a bunch where I live. There's a bunch. And it's scary. Now, these are the issues that we're facing right now. Rising gas prices. We hear this all the time. People can't work. People cannot fill up their gas tank to go to work. They can't go on vacation. They can't do other things because it costs too much money. Well, gas prices are pushing tens of thousands of small businesses to shut down. And I actually talked to a handful of people about this over this past week. And here's what some of them said. So I talked to a friend of mine who does landscaping. He has a landscaping company. He had to lay off 50% of his workforce. Now I know that number is like, whoa, 50%. He only had 10 employees, okay? But he had to cut 50% of his employees, so 5 employees, 5 workers, all because the trucks were too expensive. His fleet was too expensive to insure, keep putting gas in, right? And again, he was in landscaping, so for his mowers to run, right, to keep gas in them, we could keep oil in them, right? So all those things at the moment are just too expensive. He had to lay off 5 people. That was a landscaping company. I have another friend that she worked in a flower shop, and she said that flowers have gotten so expensive to continue to purchase that she was let go from her job. And when she asked why, the employer said, for one, it was due to rising costs of fertilizer and seeds. That was the most, and then obviously water. That was the most expensive. But then, being that farmland is so valuable right now, the grower closed down and sold the land. Yeah, the grower of the flowers decided to just close down, closed their business, not going to grow flowers anymore, and they're selling their land. Yeah, these are the things that we're hearing now. Then I have another friend who has a friend, okay, so a friend of a friend, told me just last week that his retail business was getting hammered. Now, I could have predicted that. I know retail's been getting hit hard. Now, he isn't able to get all the goods that he used to get because of China's lockdowns. And I know this. This is exactly what we're hearing from larger retailers as well. Even companies like Nike, they're struggling as well. But he placed a very large order before Thanksgiving, and this is what caused him to effectively, stop a lot of what he was doing. He made a large purchase right before Thanksgiving, and it took him until April to receive these. So was that 5 months? He said that right now people do not want to work for a smaller company anymore because they're worried that the company is going to either let them go, the company will close down, or they're not going to be as attractive as those larger corporations. Well, I looked into this. This is true. Exactly what he said is true. That people are going to larger corporations because now larger corporations have a little more, they have more benefits. They can offer more. They can usually offer more pay. But at the same time, now the power has shifted from the employee to the employer and to the large corporations, if that. So that's very scary. Now, when businesses go under, there's a good chance that it will be a small business that doesn't have much history. And from my research, I can tell you this is exactly what's happening right now. These larger corporations are being able to pretty much buy up these small guys, these small businesses, take them over, right? And they're struggling. What we are seeing is larger companies being able to pay for better workers to actually come and work for them. They give them better pay, better benefits, better hours. Some can even work from home. And that leaves small businesses fighting larger corporations for workers. But guess what? If larger corporations already have all the workers, guess who holds all the power? The large corporation, not the workers. And you can probably guess the bigger guys are going to almost always win. They are going to crush the small businesses. Okay? Now, here's the issue. Workers don't feel secure to stick with small businesses as they fear they're going to close down, possibly due to a recession. The talks of a recession have increased. Okay? I believe a couple months ago, the chances of dipping into a recession by the first quarter of 2023 was 9%. Or maybe it was first quarter of 2024 was 9%. A month ago, it jumped up to 45.5% chance we dip into a recession. Last month, or beginning of this month, whatever, it is now at 71.7% chance we dip into a recession. So the chances of recession are heightened. Well, as a result, the power for hiring, the power for employment is back in the corporation's hands. And this is troubling to many people because they once had the power. And I told you guys last year and even the year before that, as soon as the pandemic hit, you now hold all the power because people were not going back into work. People were not able to, or didn't want to go in because they were getting $600 or $300 per week on top of their unemployment pay. And well, that was the time that you held all the power. Now, not so much. So, I can tell you right now, if corporations are holding all the power again, the little guys are going to get crushed, and it won't take long before employees are tired of being forced to take on additional roles, come in different hours, work different days, and ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to quit. So, according to multiple researchers, they expect unemployment is going to jump. We will see unemployment up over 4% very soon, probably going to happen over the summer, and they say things are going to get slowly worse. So, here's what I can tell you. Be prepared, because what we're seeing right now is the power is shifting away from the employee and back to the employer. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, make sure you're seen as a valuable asset to whatever company you're working for, and you will be able to hold on to your job, not just for a couple weeks, but for the foreseeable future.